worldwide. Every weight class. It's Lewis Heaton. Whiskey Bynum. It's the Boxing Rush Hour Show, hosted by Abraham Gonzalez. You know what you came for? Yes, indeed. This where you come to get your info. Listen up. Other shows throwing the towel. It's the Boxing Rush Hour Show. Let's go. In the ring we throw hands, octagon elbows. Analytical, critical commentary is necessary. A bevy of opinions, we heavy on the winning. This podcast is to break down the pay-per-view. For boxing purists, you'll let this man through. We rise right, surprise sight at the prize fight. Hands taped up and gloves tied tight. Ring the bell, want some, get some. Let the chips pour where they may. Work the George from.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Boxing Rush Hour Show. I have some exciting news. I'm thrilled to announce my partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert, opening up an incredible opportunity for you to join some of my favorite sports books. With the packed boxing schedule coming up, there's no better time than now to get started. Head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/fightsatw to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with unique offerings. If you're ready to take your sports betting to the next level and show some love for my brand, I highly recommend signing up for your next sports book through my Sign Up Expert link. You can easily find it in the description below. Shock, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, just grinding. How you doing?
Good, man. You sound like you're in better spirits. Man, in July, obviously you lost the fight and the title in the shocking decision. And I'm going to call them by two blind mice because obviously the other one didn't gave you the card. What was the first thought that you came to your mind? Not so much that you expressed, but the first thought that came to mind when you heard the scores.
I was confused. I'm not gonna lie, because I really thought it was. I thought it was gonna be a wipeout. No lie, I thought it was gonna be a wipeout. So when I heard that scorecard, I'm like, fuck. And then, the last one came and I just couldn't believe it. I ain't understand. Like, I was kind of like questioning, did I know boxing? Like, I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? So that's really how it hit me. Like, I didn't understand it at all.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? Because at that moment, listen, you just finished getting punched in the head for 12 rounds, right? And then something happens that kind of disrupts your thought process. That's got to be hard trying to process that, what was going on, and then, just recovering from getting punched in the head.
Right. I guess it hit me so hard because I ain't really get hit that fight. Like, that was one of my least getting hit fights. Like, my defense always good, but that fight, my stuff was on point. You know what I mean? So only thing that I felt was the headbutt when we clashed heads. But other than that, I was clear-headed after the fight. I'm like, yo, I'm telling the coach as soon as the bell rung, I'm like, I made it look easy. I showed everybody I can get out there and brawl, or I can make a guy like this that they thought everybody kept thinking that he was going to come in there and it was going to be a war. He was going to do all this and do all that. And I made it look easy. And that's all I kept telling my coach, like, damn, I made this look easy. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask you, like, was the fight easier to you to manage than what you anticipated? Was Conceicao as crafty as people made him out to be?
No. See, this the thing though. When people say crafty, I think they kind of mix that with awkwardness. Like, he awkward, weird. Like, he do weird stuff in the ring. I've seen that a lot. The weird movements, all this. So when I got in there with him, I was expecting him to be a lot more like you said, crafty and stuff, like a little different. It wasn't that though. He was a lot slower than I thought. His feet was, I already knew he didn't have great feet, but his feet was, man, a lot of it, yeah, you're right. A lot of it was, I let the noise on the outside, you know what I mean? And it wasn't that in the fight. So I mean, I understand now what I need to go do, and you know that's the thing. This is my first rematch in the pros, so it's cool because you already got them tendencies of that person and stuff. So the
Yeah.
shit is good.
Yeah. And there was an uproar from the boxing community and your team as well, putting the pressure on WBC. Was there ever a moment that you felt like you might have not been able to get the rematch?
Nah, nah. I felt from the beginning that it was gonna come. It was too much people talking about it. Too many like too many famous, too many people that got what I mean, got power and say so. I mean, not over the WBC obviously, but just in the public eye. You know what I mean? So yeah, I figured it was coming.
Okay. All right. And then this fight is occurring just 4 months after the first one. Um, how does the July fight affect how you prepare for the rematch? Or does it?
It made it easier for me. I understand what he bringing to the table. I understand what I need to go do, and I needed to turn it up. So it made it easier for me. It made it better for me,
Okay.
for sure.
And what did you learn about yourself this past summer as you reflected on things as they were happening, especially things that you do, what you have control of and what you don't have control of? Like, what did you learn about yourself, if anything?
That never take the easy route out. I always put everything into whatever it is, and you're gonna get the outcome you're looking for. When you try to go in there and you know what I mean. Like I said, that's what I learned from it, bro. Get in there and grind work. You know what I mean. To the max though. Like you know what I mean. Like that's work harder. Like that's what I took out of it for sure.
And you're saying that because you feel like you might have taken your foot off the gas a little bit at the end because you felt like you had the fight?
I felt like I could have did a lot more. You know what I mean? Even though the fight was easy, I could have did more, and that's what I took out of it. You know what I mean? Don't go in there just because it's easy and woo woo. Get them up out of there, at least. You know what I mean? Put it on them. I took all that from that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And do you feel like this is a must win for you? And does it change your timeline of moving up? Because I know the last time we spoke, you talked about potentially going to 135, soon. So does this change that timeline? And do you feel like this is a must win?
In my eyes, bro, I hate losing. So every fight is a must win. Like I don't see nobody I get across the ring with. I don't see myself even thinking about losing. I don't care who it is. I feel like I'm that guy. So whoever they put, it can be any one of them. I'm a train like I'm. You know what I mean? Like I'm him. Um. So yeah. And what was the second part of your
Yeah,
question?
yeah. And then does this change your timetable of moving up? Because I know you had spoken about that, maybe doing that at some point next year. Does this rematch change that timetable?
Nah, not really. It's really opportunities for me. Um, if I can get the opportunity to go unify a couple times next year, then I'll put the 35 on hold. If I get an opportunity to move there, fight for a title, I'm jumping. You know what I mean? So it just depends. It depends what comes.
Okay. All right. And then finally, what should fans expect for you on November 2nd? And how different will this fight be than the first one?
My fans should expect explosion, explosive. Like they ain't seen this shock before. That's all I'm gonna say, man. That's all I'm gonna say. They tune in. We're gonna show y'all something different.
All right. Well, listen, Shaka, I appreciate your time and I wish you the best of luck in November.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Boxing Rush Hour show, fightsatw.com. My next guest, he's a legend in the game already, and he's a humble guy, so he won't say it, but I'm going to say it for him. multi-platinum producer, multi-award-winning producer. This man really needs no introduction, but I needed to say it anyway. I've got Rsonist, Heatmakerz. What's good?
Thank you for having me, my brother. I'm good, man. I can't complain. I
Yeah,
can't complain.
and listen, the plaques behind you say it all.
Oh yeah, we got some, we got some more, man.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. All right, listen. Today I wanted to first of all, thank you for coming on to the show. I know that you're a big boxing fan as well.
Yes, sir.
But you also recently dropped a project with Joell Ortiz called War, with all respect.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so we're gonna get into a little bit of everything when it comes to that. But for people that may not know who you are on the boxing side of things, I just want to kind of get a little bit of a background, a little bit of a bio blast. Um, I know you're from Kingston, Jamaica, and
Well, actually,
well,
Mandeville, Jamaica. I'm born in
man,
Jamaica, but Mandeville, Jamaica. Yeah.
okay. And then so just kind of wanted to get an understanding of like when at what point in your childhood or teen years maybe did you come here to the US. And when did your journey as a producer begin?
Well, I came here early. When I was 4 years old, my parents moved over here, so I was kind of like, like my memories of Jamaica wasn't like it was most of my childhood. So, I was raised in the Bronx, and I was a DJ first. Like, like I started DJing probably like my junior year of high school. Then when I got to college, I picked up more, and then that slowly led into I got kicked out of college. It's a whole nother story. But when I got kicked out, I had a baby on the way. Didn't know what I was gonna do. My old partner Thriller, he had bought an MPC, and we just he went to Trinidad, let me hold it, and then I learned how to use it. I'm giving you the short stories. Met a dude by the name of Todd Terry. He believed in what I was doing, bought me about $30,000 worth of equipment, and we still friends to this day. And it's just, it was like it was meant to happen.
Yeah, no doubt. And then so shout out to everybody in the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx, Castle Hill. Everybody from Castle Hill stand up. For sure. While growing up, were you, at what point did you get into boxing, or was boxing something that you fell in love with a little bit later on in life?
Well, I've always loved boxing, but I didn't really like start studying every boxer until about maybe I would say my early 30s. You know what I mean? I'm 47. My birthday was a couple days ago. I'm 47 now. So probably like my early 30s, I really started getting into like really paying attention to every boxer and seeing like what their strengths were, what their weaknesses were, like certain things like that. Before I used to just kind of casually watch boxing, but at like around I'd say 29, 30, I started to really like dive into boxing.
Okay. All right. And then I saw looking at Wikipedia that in 2000 you did a, a production song, the sequel from Cannabis.
Oh, for
If
Cannabis. That was the
Yeah.
first, yeah, that was the first record at the time me and Thriller ever got paid for. Because
Yeah.
Cannabis was signed to Universal at the time. I mean, that's a whole nother story. Our manager at the time robbed us and kind of took a majority of the money we didn't know, but we were so green in the game that, any money seemed like it was good.
Yeah.
We didn't really understand how the business worked, but again, man, you live and you learn. So it's no, at this point, it's no hard feelings. I don't really, I just think that certain things have to happen in order to teach you a lesson. And that was one of our life lessons at that point.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you, like, because cannabis at that time was still hot. Like, how did you being new in the game, being green in the game, get on to producing one of those tracks?
Relationships, because like coming up, I always me and my peoples kind of always stayed around people that were moving and shaking in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And when we got into music, we kind of just used the 6 degrees of separation. Like, all right, cool, we know him, he knows him. Let's give him a CD, he'll get it to him. And then before you know it, it was like, you know, we put the pieces together.
Yeah, no doubt. And then listen, 2002 came and it was like the world probably flipped upside down for you.
Yeah,
Cam drops Come Home With Me under the Rockefeller. And I'm gonna paint the picture a little bit because I was stationed in Cali, but I was coming back to New York, getting mixtapes in Southern Boulevard, otherwise known as Hunts Point, the mixtape
right.
shop there. When when that happened, that whole situation happened, like the city was turned upside down. Like,
Right.
diplomats, the mixtape, the whole situation. Shit, I remember being in Sue's Rendezvous and Cam coming in there. They were doing the Rockefeller signing. It
No,
was a
Sue's
movie.
yeah.
It was a
But you know,
movie.
honestly, with me, because I guess I was so into I didn't even understand all that was going on. I was just in a studio making music, trying to make as much music as I could because I just felt like this is my chance. Let me not lose my opportunity. So when people were telling me like, yo, Dipset is hot, they on fire, they doing this, they doing that, I seen it, but I didn't really pay attention because I was just trying to come up with the next thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if people can understand that. It was like I didn't understand how hot Dipset was until the album dropped and people were asking me for pictures and shit like that. And I'm like, the fuck they want a picture with me for? You know what I mean? I didn't understand it.
No doubt. And then when Flex premiered that I'm Ready song,
Right.
like how crazy did life get for you 24 hours after that?
Um, Again, around that time, I was just happy to hear the song on the radio. I didn't understand the magnitude of what was going on because you got to remember at that point, people are just now catching on to Dipset. They didn't really understand what it was. I'm Ready was kind of like a shock to their system, like, yo, what is this? And that record went on to change a lot of people's lives. But at that moment, I didn't understand the gravity of it at that moment because it didn't really, it's not like now where there's the internet and things spread instantly.
Yeah.
Back then, if something came out today, by the time, especially if it came out today in New York, it wouldn't hit LA for like another 4 or 5 days. You understand?
Yeah.
Like the word got around. So it was different. So when that happened, it was kind of like I saw the effects of that maybe like a month later.
Okay. And then so that run it took a turn, let me see, 2006 I think is when, that whole lasted. Um
Yeah.
what does 2024 Arsonist tell that version of Arsonist from 2003 to 2006 right now? Like what do you tell yourself at that moment that maybe you should have told yourself back then?
Back then, I think it's I would tell myself, know your value. Because back then you start to think like, yo, these people are doing me favors by putting me in these rooms, or these artists are kind of helping me out by putting me on their album, not understanding that you bring a lot of that to the table. The reason they want to mess with you is because of what you've done and how much money you've brought to them or the label. You know what I'm saying? So I would tell the younger version of me, know your value. And I would also tell the younger version of me, be patient. You
Mm,
understand? Like it's almost like this too shall pass. Sometimes in any field that we're in, we have down times, and it's like we tend to think that it's going to be forever. But we don't understand the times that we're up, there's a bunch of people that's down and they just trying to wait it out too. So it's like we take turns. You know what I mean? Like this might be a great year for me, it might be a terrible year for somebody else. And then next year it could switch. But once you understand that, I think you approach life differently. So I would tell the younger version of me to just be patient and to kind of wait out the storm from time to time and don't panic.
no doubt.
Because I think we tend to panic for no reason sometimes.
That's what's up, man. And then, and I think that's important for people to understand and hear, man, because, everybody wants to be hot right now. And then, if they're not hot no more, then they don't understand how to deal with it because they were real quick to
And
get
they
hot.
gotta understand, man, we all go through it. You know what I mean? Some people tend to think like it's just me. Like, why is this happening to me? We all go through it, man. Some people just handle it better. Some people wear it better. You know what I mean? Like, there's been plenty of days that you might see me on the gram making a beat, and I'm probably having one of the worst days of my life. But at the end of the day, I understand the show must go on. And this is, you understand, like, business and personal really should not mix with each other. So even if I'm going through something personally, my fans shouldn't care about that because the reason they're a fan of me is because of the product I'm giving them. The minute I stop giving them that product, they have all right to walk away. You understand? Because it's kind of like if I go to McDonald's for a burger and they tell me like, "Yo, the staff ain't feeling right today. They're not making burgers." I'm not going back to that McDonald's no more because my main purpose of going there was to get a product. If you're not giving me the product, then you really serve me no purpose. And I don't want to sound cold, but that's what this is. And I think a lot of artists slash producers don't understand that. You're here to serve a purpose. So the minute you start telling your fans like, yo, I'm going through some shit, y'all gotta understand. Yeah, maybe some of them will, But the people that's just there for the product, they don't really care no more, and they shouldn't.
Yeah,
You know
no
what I'm
doubt.
saying? Like, well, I
And
get
and
it.
and you were talking about doing those videos and making the beats on Instagram.
Right.
It reminded me of the first time I saw you, which was either Smack or Sub-Zero DVD, where you were making
Smack,
the beat
smack.
on there, Smack. So,
Yeah.
you've been doing this, for a long time, and some of the things that you were doing at that time were a little bit ahead of its time.
Yeah, because back you gotta remember back then it was almost taboo to show what you did. Because they was all your people gonna bite, they gonna steal your style, they gonna do this, they gonna do that. But I think a lot of the artists from back then have to understand that the age we live in now is a visual age. They want to see you. They want to see what you're doing, when you did it, where you did it. You know what I'm saying? They want to see all of that. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna cut off a certain fan base just because I refuse to put a camera on me making a beat. Like at the end of the day, I make thousands of beats a year. You
Yeah,
understand? Like, why wouldn't I film 15 to 20 of them and just put it online
yeah,
to keep my brand alive? You understand? Like, I understand I got to do that. So I'm not, trust me, I'm not one of them dudes that came up in the early 2000s that still thinks that way. I understand that we have a new machine we didn't have before, which is the internet. So you got to use it to the best of your ability without compromising yourself.
yeah. That's what's up. All right, and then it looks like 2019 is when you came back strong again. So you earlier you were talking about the highs and lows, and then having your run at one point and then coming back another. That Jim Jones El Capo, arguably Jim's best album to date.
The
Uh,
numbers say,
huh?
I said, the numbers say so.
Yeah, for sure. And that started the run again, taking you to now. Do you appreciate this run more now because you have more knowledge of the business part of it?
Yes, 100%. 100%. It's not even a question. Like I had like an immense amount of success in the early 2000s, but I was just kind of like high off life at that point. You know what I mean? I didn't take the time to really figure out all the intricacies of the business, which I know now. So it's like I definitely appreciate this run way more. Just because I can do less and make more because I understand the business more. Before I was doing a million things just to get to this amount. Now I can do five or six things and get to the same amount because I understand what to attack and what not to attack and what not to waste time on. You know what I'm saying? So I to answer your question 100%.
Yeah, no doubt. And so kind of sliding to the boxing side, I see you post videos hitting the heavy bag, almost every morning, getting your workout in.
Right.
Has that boxing training kind of been become part of your lifestyle, like to kind of get a lot of people use it as to get mental health kind of straightened out every day and stuff like that
Like
and conditioning.
I don't know what happened. Like in my later ages, like probably like from about 35 on, I started to like get little bouts of anxiety from time to time. And I can't even tell you why, to be honest with you. But I'm naturally an angry person. You know what I mean? Not when you meet me, but just in the sense of it's either black or white with me. I'm either the nicest person in the world or I'm ready to rip somebody's head off. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that kind of simmers me down to start my day. Where it's like I can get my aggression out early in the morning and then now I can coast through my day. Like the days I can't get a chance to do that, I feel the difference. I feel like I'm on edge. You know what I'm saying? So it has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
To answer the question, it definitely helped me a lot. And I probably do that 5 days out of the week if I can.
Yeah, I see it. I see it on IG.
Yeah, man.
And keep it with the boxing theme. Who are some of the fighters that you used to watch coming up when you did take it seriously and you said that you were really into it? Who were some of the fighters that gained your attention at that point?
Um, Obviously Floyd. You know, this was around the time that pretty it was Pretty Boy Floyd, and he was beating the shit out of people like Gotti, and you know what I'm saying. And like I was like a huge fan of Floyd just because he did what he said he was gonna do. You know what I mean? And in boxing, that's rare. Like a lot of times, boxers will get exposed at some point in their career, and Floyd never let that happen. So it was like I just appreciated watching Floyd. Like I watched Floyd. I watched funny enough, like people like Andre Berto. Like I was just a huge fan of Berto because I just felt like every fight he put 100% into. It felt like that to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Timothy Bradley, he would to me, he was another dude that kind of went all out every fight. You know what I mean? I appreciated fighters like that. And obviously, before I really took it serious, Mike Tyson was always one of my favorite fighters, not boxers, but fighters. Like with Mike Tyson, you knew it was going to be a fight. And I think that's what kind of the Mike Tyson era is what really made me say, like, nah, I got to pay more attention to this. Because, like a lot of times when you see like an upset happen, you think it's an upset until you do your history on the other guy and you're like, wait a minute, like he's been nice.
Yeah.
So just knowing that made me pay more attention to a lot of these fighters, like, because like sometimes a fighter will be going into a fight and a lot of people around me will be like, oh, he's going to get washed by this person or that person. I'm like, nah, you're bugging. I actually watched this dude fight and he's a monster. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I remember when Terrence Crawford was going to fight Mean Machine.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, yo, he about to run through this dude and da da da. And I said, yo, it's gonna be a better fight than you think, man, because I watched this dude fight before, and he's like, he got that shit with him. And it was a great fight. Like I don't think he put him down, but I think he buckled Crawford for a second, and Crawford got back to it and knocked him out. But it was a better fight than people expected.
Yeah, and actually, it was a knockdown that wasn't called a knockdown, but it should have been called a knockdown.
Right. Because I know he buckled him, but right after that, Crawford came right back.
Yeah, and
But
got his get back. So yeah, no, that's what's up, man. And listen, we're around the same age, so I'm right there with you, along with all those fighters that you mentioned. Even like this past weekend, Tim Tszyu got knocked the
right.
hell out,
Let me
but
tell you something crazy, man. I remember, I think this was like what, like maybe 8 months, 6 months ago when Jared Anderson was about to fight Martin Bakole.
hmm
When I saw Martin Bakole in the back hitting pads, I said it's going to be a long night for Jared Anderson. You know how you can tell when certain people hit the pads, the sound that it makes, and you
hmm
can tell that they're not really like the punch is natural form. It's not like they're trying to put nothing on it. They just got heavy ass hands. When I seen him hitting the pads, I said, one, I would never want to get hit with no shit like that. Two, it's going to be a super long night for Jared Anderson because if he catches him with one of those shits, which he did in the first round, I said, oh my God. That dude, I'm calling it from now. That dude is going to have maybe two or three more upsets under his belt. I promise you.
Yeah, I was there for that fight, man. And you could hear them shots.
Yeah, he takes a punch well.
hmm
Because Jared Anderson hit him with some shit and he took it well and just kind of kept walking at him. Like, so I feel bad for what I think they're supposed to be setting up a fight with him and Zhang next, right?
Well, they were trying to, but then the IBF I think is gonna have him do an eliminator. So he's gonna fight this
I
other dude.
can't wait.
I can't remember what his name is. Zhang is gonna fight
Can't
somebody
wait to
big.
see.
It's just not, they haven't finalized it just yet.
I can't wait to see that fight.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's talk about war with all respect. Joell Ortiz,
Yes.
Arsonist. This
Mm-hmm.
thing, I tell you, man, I haven't stopped playing it. It's been super hard. Pause. Like I've listened to Joell Ortiz for a long time. Probably the first time was the one that he had the bodega in the background. Like
Yeah.
that's how far back I go with
Bodega
Joell Ortiz.
Chronicles, I think was the name of it.
Yeah. And the failed project, not the failed project, but the project that never happened with Dr. Dre.
Right.
And then this situation, I remember when you were talking, you said, I'm working with him and we got some shit coming out. But this feels so much more than just you guys putting this project together. It feels, organic. It doesn't feel like rushed. It feels
Right.
like you guys really took your time on it. How did the idea of doing this project come about?
Well, I've been around Joel now on a consistent basis for probably over 5 years, 6 years. So we've been around each other kind of, and I've done music for like a projects with him and Crook and things of that nature, and other solo projects he did. I probably did two or three records here and there, but as of like the last year, me and him have been around each other more, and it's kind of like we've been having random conversations about just life. And then sometimes we're having a conversation while I'm making a beat, and I might look over and he's writing out of nowhere, and then we just built up so many records that it was kind of like we need to do a project where every song is about something. You know what I mean? Like I think he's gotten to the point in his career where him just rapping just to rap, he's done that for so many years. That's not going to impress the fan base anymore. I'm like, you almost have to crack the door open and let the fan base into your life into your life for a minute, into your thought process. You know, so that's what we did on this album. But again, like you said, we took our time because we were around each other 3, 4 days a week. So as I'm making music, if something catches his ear, he would write to it, and then I know he's writing to it, I would kind of cater it towards the project we're working on, like whether it was the bass lines I chose or the percussions I'm using, just because I wanted it all to fit together and feel like a project and not feel like random producers just threw random tracks at an artist. You know what I mean? I feel like this project has a certain cohesiveness to it that a lot of projects lack from time to time.
Yeah, no doubt. And then as a producer, what was your approach and how different was the initial strategy of your approach to the end product?
Um, I think once I get vocals on the track, I get a clearer picture of how to mold the track around the vocals. Because, you know, again, I'll do the beat and Joel will rap to it, but then the production starts. Then it becomes, how do I make this beat fit these vocals the best? Like, where should I put certain drops? Does it need drums? Maybe it might not. Maybe I should approach the hook this way. Like, you know, like there's a lot of thoughts that go into the final product, but once he does what he does, it makes it 10 times easier for me to approach what I'm about to do.
Okay. All right. And then listen, all the years, that's one of my personal favorites because I feel like it hits me more because I lived through what
Right.
what he's saying.
Right.
Like I
And you
lived
can put
through
a
all that.
picture, you can put a picture to a lot of it. Like I
Yeah.
remember when that girl moved in the neighborhood that I had a crush on, and she was staying with her grandmother for the summer. I remember the free lunch line. You know what I mean? There's certain things that he says that you're like, damn, I remember that, man. Like I really remember like cracking the fire hydrants open in the summertime. And then if the police were coming through, somebody tried to stand in front of the hydrant so they wouldn't
Mm.
close. You know what I mean? Like I remember shit like that. So when he says it, it's almost like a breath of fresh air to let you know, like, damn, I'm not the only one that went through that. Like, other people have similar stories. So again, man, I appreciate this album on a bunch of different levels just because I think it was a well thought out album from his perspective.
Yeah, and shout out to all the Contra lovers because he hit the up, up, down, down,
Yeah,
left,
left,
right
right,
on
left,
it.
right. What was it? BA star. What was it? Up, 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 down, down, left, right, left, right. What was it?
The
BA
A-
select star or some
yeah,
shit like
yeah.
that.
I think it was like AB or BA Select
Yeah,
Start.
like that.
What would you say felt like out of all the records, and I'm sure you love all of them, but which one do you think is the most important to you?
To me, uh, important to me, honestly, and it's gonna be weird for me to say this, but I think it's a record like Reaper Man. And the reason why I say it, and I'm not saying Reaper Man is my favorite, but it's the most important to me in the sense of what he's saying in that record. He's kind of putting life into perspective for you, like this shit could be over in a second. We hope it's not, but death is around the corner for a lot of people that don't think it is. You know what I mean? So I think if you kind of break that song down, it's an important song for a lot of people because I think we get to a point in our life where we think this shit is forever. Like we think we can say, you know what? Now I'll do that tomorrow, man. Like says who? You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? Again, if you listen to that song from the right perspective, it should kind of drive you to do things now.
Yeah. No, that's what's up. And listen, there's not enough of that going on right now because like you said, there's too many people that are living, today, thinking that they have tomorrow, and that's not
Right.
promised. You could walk out the door and it could be over with. So, definitely appreciate that song. Listen, what should fans expect from you next year? Like you've got, you're riding high on this album. Anything that the fans should expect from you next year, or anything that you think that they could know a little bit
Yeah.
about right now.
Yeah, a couple of things. I have a few other projects coming out. I got one with the artist by the name of Locksmith. Me and him have a 7 song EP coming out. I got another one with an artist by the name of I Born. We have a 9 song project coming out called Born Again. That's actually dropping November 1st. Um, we got Raekwon on there, reggae artist by the name of Assassin on there. We got Joell Ortiz on there, and Angel Hill, a couple artists, and then I have an instrumental project dropping in January. Then me and probably sometime next year, me and Jim will drop El Capo too. We're about 5 records in. You know what I mean? So we working.
Yes. All right. Lastly, listen, we're gonna bounce right back to the boxing stuff. November
Right.
15th on Netflix. It's gonna
Mhm.
be Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Um, will you be watching this event? And do you think that this is something that a lot of folks are gonna tune into, or do you think that the jig is up on these type of events?
No, I think just because of the names involved, people are gonna. It's almost like a car crash. You can't look. You want to look away, but you can't. You know what I mean? I think everybody that's like, "Yo, I'm not supporting this. I'm not buying that." They're gonna buy it. Because I probably said that I'm gonna buy it. Just to be real with you, just because I want to. You know what I mean? I don't want to see Tyson get hurt because to me, Tyson was one of like my childhood heroes. Like as far as just like on some Superman shit. But I'm gonna be watching because I think if Tyson can get to Paul with his pressure in the first couple rounds, it could look like something. I just think the longer the fight goes, the less it's in Tyson's favor because of endurance and stamina. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And let's not lie to ourselves. Like Jake Paul can punch. People try to make it seem like Jake Paul is just this YouTube guy that no, like he's a boxer now. Like let's just
Yeah.
keep it real with each other. So I just don't want to see Tyson at what is he at, like 58 now?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that, 58, 59.
Yeah, I don't want to see Tyson at 58 get hit with shots that could change his life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's all I'm saying. I think that again, I'm sure Tyson's been punched harder than Jake Paul could punch him, but it's been years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, has Jake Paul been punched as hard as Tyson's gonna hit him? Because your strength goes nowhere. Your
Yeah.
speed might go, but he's still as strong as he was when he was in his 30s. Trust me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
No doubt. And
So
that fight is gonna be on Netflix. So everybody
yeah.
worldwide is gonna be able to watch it. So it's gonna be crazy.
Oh, it's not pay-per-view?
No, it's on Netflix.
Oh, okay, that's fire. I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna watch it then.
It's on Netflix, and Netflix is gonna stream it worldwide. So I had
Oh
put
yeah,
something.
Mike Tyson's an international name, so they gonna do numbers.
Yeah, I had put something out there where I said they're probably gonna do like 20 million views, like off the rip.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
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 for a fact. Just the fact of knowing that it's free and you already have Netflix and it's Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, even if you're just a boxing casual, not even a boxing fan, like you'll watch that.
yeah, no doubt. Listen, Rsonist, listen, I appreciate your time here. Again, the album is called War, Arsonist Joell Ortiz. You can stream it. There's a YouTube page that I'll put inside the article and on the link
Fact.
stream. Um, and yeah, that's it right there. War with all respect,
All
Joell
respect.
Ortiz.
Yes.
Arsonist. Listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on. And we'll definitely talk soon so we get that official prediction in when I do my celebrity panel.
All right, my brother.
All
Thank
right.
you, man.
Thank you.
It's the Boxing Rush Hour Show.